It's YouTube Wednesday! I want to kind of draw out what I want. I'm going to put Krampus in a robe because I think that's going to be easiest. It also gives me a chance to add holiday color. So my Christmas tree topper is going to look something like that. Like, okay, so that's the basic of it. So let's figure out how big that is. So I'm looking at, well, isn't this already the cone shape that I want his robe to be? And it's already a good holiday color. So let's start there. And I know that inside I'm going to have just a paint stir stick. This is going to be kind of my skeleton for this guy. And I'm going to just mark my halfway point. So up there is where I have to build my my Krampus body. All right. I have these twist ties. I don't care what they look. I don't care that they're tree. You know, who cares? What they're going to do is they're going to serve to bulk out a little bit of his body a touch. See how I'm just wrapping this around in order to make this be stable? I'm making a skeleton for him. Boom shakalaka. Horns. I'm going to use half of this. This is a whole package. So my little set of horns will cost me about $4. Careful not to mix up more than you can use at one time, because once it's mixed, it's going to harden. This is steel stick epoxy. It's AB. If you look at it, there's dark on the inside and light on the outside. And yeah, I find the best way to mix it up is to roll it into a noodle and fold it on itself. Roll it into a noodle, fold it on itself. Now, but I want to just make sure that there's no flat spot from where I laid it down on that table. I have another sleeve here. I'm going to cut this because this is going to be the sleeve of my Krampus's robe. I'm going to cut it a little bigger than I need. There we go. That'll be a sleeve. Do that again on the other side. This guy is hardening already, so I want to pick it up and make sure I don't have a flat spot. I have a flat spot, so now I'm just fixing the flat spot. It's not a big deal. I'm going to make sure these guys are both close in size and shape, and they are. I now have a pair of Krampus horns. Then we're going to sew these little sleeves together. And when I say sew, I mean hot glue. My hot glue gun has a temperature setting where I can change the temp. And you want it fairly high so that the glue is liquid. When it's liquid, it'll go in between the weave of the fabric. It'll hold really well. Let's start thinking about his hands. So if that's the size of my head, how big is your hand compared to your face? That's about how big I want to make my hands. I'm that big. I just drew it right over his face. I would like it if I could make all of his hands out of one of this. Both hands, one of these. Let's do that. So I cut it in half, and that's going to give me right hand, left hand. All right, here we go. I'm going to lay this down on my paper, right about where I drew that hand. I'm just going to use this to cut my fingers. 1, 2, 3. You know what? I think that we're going to have a 3 fingers and a thumb. And I think that's what our Krampus is going to be, because I don't want to take any more real estate away. I'm just kind of working to shape it. Now, there's no reason why you have to do all this at once. You could certainly build one finger at a time and then put them all together. Okay. See, because I'm getting stiffer, like as it cures up, it's getting stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. Claws, little claws. See, and I'm almost hard, like I'm almost ready to go right there. Perfect. Just set that down and let it chill out. And you should probably do one finger at a time. This is heating up fast. But that is my other hand. I now have a right hand and a left hand. I don't need to do the whole head. I have to do the face and ears, you know? That's what I have to do. I'm going to cut this in half, and I'll cut that in quarters. See, those are hard now. That's hard. See, hard. I'm going to take 1/4 and use it to attach those. Now I'm going to take this in half, and half of it is for this horn. I'm going to wrap it around the base. Put the horn where I want it, and then smooth it in. Now I am going to just babysit these while that is setting up to make sure that it gets that they set up in the right place. Okay, and that's pretty much solid. So I like how that's looking. And I have to think about how am I going to attach this to the tree. So my solution was I'm going to glue a few of these boys on so that you can just clip this to that top branch of the tree right there. They're not like in the way. You still get to open it. They open just as much, but you don't have to worry about them being in the way of making the robe look weird. I'm going to go ahead and do this 1/4 piece of the hardening clay, the steel stick epoxy. This is a 1/4. Remember, this is a 1/4 of a stick, and I have another half left. This 1/4, all that I want to do is flesh out this whole face. So I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to thin it out over to, I'm building, this is what I will put all of the facial details and stuff on. That's all that this has to do. And this is a Krampus, so it's gonna get hair and stuff, you know? And I'm gonna put an eye in right here. Just so I have an idea. That's all it looks like right now. That's it, a little stage by stage of how this guy is gonna go together. So this is a half, this is half of one. All right, I'm gonna make it into another quarter and a quarter. Let's do that. And now let's put one of these in half. So that's gonna be an eighth of a stick. And this is gonna be the ears. We're gonna make the ears out of this. That's all I'm worried about. Worried about one facial feature at a time. I'm gonna break that in half. Let me put a little ball on here that's gonna like extend the chin. Let's do that. And then this will be the ears. I'm just gonna roll it. I'll make 2 teardrops. I'm not super ambidextrous, but I can make my left hand do what my right hand is doing. So I have 2 teardrops. Those are eardrops now, sucker. Eardrops. Put them on and smear them in place. From teardrops to eardrops. I'm just going to do a little line in that ear in order to do a little bit of detail. Here's the wonderful thing about folk art. It can look a little off. It can look a little sloppy. It can look a little hand done. Tell you what, let's cut this in half. 1/16. I might switch pieces just so they're a little more even. I'll put it on over the eye and lay it down just like that. Okay, see how I put it on? I just laid it on there at a little bit of an angle down. And now I'm going to blend it out. Blend it in. Blend it in with my finger. That's all. I'm blending in the top. That's going to come over here and kind of meet that ear. It's a nice bit of anatomy when that happens. And the bottoms I'm not going to blend. I'm going to let that be that heavy brow, okay? All right, this is going to be a... Let's do teeth out of this. All right, let's do teeth. We're not going to go crazy on teeth. Okay, I'm going to take from this lump a very little bit. Roll it out. Try to sharpen an end here. Put it on. I'm smearing the top of the tooth on, and I'm letting the bottom, the pointy bit, just stay there. And you can wet your fingers in order to have the clay not stick to it. Okay, so now I've got 2 teeth. I got a lip, but I got 2 teeth. And I'm going to put in some clay in between those two. Just like that. And now I'm just going to separate that with this. And those are my other teeth. I'm not worried about those as much. Those don't have to be as detailed or as big as the other ones. Now, this tool could be a popsicle stick. It could be anything. I happen to be using a fid, like for leather work. I got this little bit right here. Let's put this little bit down here, and let's go ahead and push out the teeth out of that bottom piece too. Just a little bit of moving got us that. Now, we still have this bit here. We got this bit. And that's a quarter. Let's go ahead and knock that into an 1/8. Let's go ahead and knock that into a 1/16. We're going to do cheekbones out of this. We're just going to do cheekbones. Okay, I separated that piece into two. That way I know both the cheekbones are going to be the same size. I'm going to put them on right about where I want them. See where I put them on? I just stuck them on there. Now I'm going to drag them out with my finger underneath. It's kind of like we smoothed out the eye up on top. I'm going to push it over far enough where it kind of becomes the side of the mouth. And then I blend in over here towards the nose. I got big hands, it's a little bit hard for me to get in there, but I think that you get the idea. And now we have cheeks on there. And I need a little bit for a nose, but I don't even need a 16th. I'm going to cut this 16th in half and make it a 32nd. And that 32nd I'm going to put on my favorite wrapper, 32nd. Now I'm going to grab my stabby tool again, and I'm going to push down on the edges. I'm going to blend them in. I'm going to push down between the eyes. Just pushing down. And now I'm sort of pinching that to make it a little more nose-like. And if I get it too pointy, I just push it again. I want the hook down a little bit. And I think I'm going to just push the nostrils in out of this. So I'm going to go in and stab a hole right where the nostril would be, and then push it out to the side. Like you're putting your finger in your cheek and pushing it out. And that gave me two little nostrils. What do you mean, nostrils? And that leaves me this little bit. And I think that this little bit would make a nice tongue. So let's just go ahead and lengthen this out. I lengthened it. I'm going to split the tip. Put it right there into his mouth. I'll use my pointy tool to push it in, because this clay sticks to itself really well, but it does need a little bit of contact to make that happen. Now we have a tongue on our little Krampus face. All right, so this is our Krampus head. We have his head done. That was easy. You guys can do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my sleeves on, like I said I was going to do before. I have some scrap brown fur. I'm keeping in mind the direction that the fabric is going. And I'm keeping in mind the thickness of my wrist. And I'm going to look at that and how that works, and right about there is good for me. So I'm going to cut that. Remember, we did a right hand and a left hand. Remember that when you are putting on the right hand and the left hand. So this is a whittle thumb right here. So this is my hand for this side. My fur goes out this direction, so this is the way I want this to be on. And the wonderful thing about fur is it's going to hide your seam for you. All right, we have a little arm ready to go there. So how long is that head? Let's measure. I just wrapped it around to see how long it needed to be. So this, see this fur direction goes out. And I want to use that to kind of wrap around and help cover up this head. I'm not going to do a bunch of cuts here. I'm going to use the fur itself. All we have to fur is fur itself. And now I'm going to put glue on the head where I want the fur to go, not on the fur where I want it to glue down. So I'm putting a little bit right here. I want there to be fur right there. So let's take this fur that's here and glued down up there and pull it in. And notice all that extra fur, I'm just shoving to the back. I'm just shoving that extra fur to the back and then pulling up just that edge to come up and be the fur on his face. Next thing I want to do is I want to cover this up. So I'm going to bring this here. So I've cut like half a pair of pants out. And my plan is to flip this guy over. See, now I think I can lay it on. Well, I won't. Here's my half a pair of pants. The waist of the pair of pants, I'm going to hot glue. I'm going to attach to that Santa hat cone that we made. Squeeze that together. This flips over here. This flips over here. Now Krampus is wearing a jumper. So I have grabbed some fancy red ribbon, and we're going to make a hood, and we're going to make a, and we're going to just put some trim on the front of this. So it's going to be a long hood, so it's going to have that tail on it. So I'm just going to use all of that. I'm going to cut holes for his horns to go through. Am I going to check and see if it lines up and if I have enough? No. Am I going to check and see if those holes were right for the horns? No. And I did kind of want that ribbon glued down, so I don't want it to come apart when I cut a hole in it. I'm going to go ahead and glue the hood together in the back. See how that looks in the back now? He's got that nice hood on his Hroby. I'm going to cut this, but that's too long. So I'm just going to cut this shape. So that is his hood. Will end right there. I'm going to do trim, remember? Let's cut 2 pieces. So this little guy is ready for paint. So I'm going to mostly dry brush because I'm taking advantage of the dark color of the epoxy clay. So I'm going to dry brush on a skin tone. Fingernails and the horns. I have very little bit on here when I do fingernails. And the paint is going to tell people where the fingernails are. If I didn't sculpt in a cuticle because I ran out of time, that's fine. the paint is going to tell them where the cuticles are. And don't stress. Whatever you're stressed about is less likely to happen. Yeah, see, we didn't booger that up too bad. We'll go inside now here and hit the top of that, the base of that horn. This one I really can't see, so I'm not going to worry about it. If I got to dig for it, then people aren't going to see it. And the white will tell people where the teeth are, just like the black tells people where the fingernails are. Well, I'm just going to stab in there and hope I have enough defined teeth to make it work. There we go. Now I got enough in there. All right, so now I'm going to set up and do the tongue red. Let's hit these eyes. Now back to the front of the paintbrush. Now, I want the illusion that this is a robe, so I'm going to darken in there with some black paint. I have some gold chain. This is like plastic. It's super light gold chain, and I thought that this would look nice on it, kind of draped around his shoulders and stuff. So, also, let's go ahead and dingy him up a little bit. This is a very shiny new Krampus right now. I'm going to use my glossy wood tone spray paint. This is our Christmas Krampus tree topper right here. Go make stuff! We have finally launched a Patreon page. Thank you all so much for your support. If you want to help support the channel, these are my Patreons. If you want to help support the channel, the link is in the video description. Please join us on Patreon. Lots of cool content. Sleeves fell off. We were just kind of checking them anyway. You better check your sleeves before you wreck your sleeves. Otini! Hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more content like this, then you can join us on Patreon or just subscribe to the channel.